Hey YouTube, welcome back to UniXDBS, and today the topic is actually the first of maybe two, potentially three videos on how a player can best get ready for 2022 Nationals. And I'm very excited. This is like one of the first competitive discussion things I've put up in a bit. One that I actually felt like I've drafted and gotten out. So I'm really excited about this. Before we hop right into it, just want to put out the normal plugs. If you haven't already, head over to the official Dragon Ball Super card game Facebook group where you can get all the official announcements when it comes to tournaments and products, as well as spoilers when it comes to those products cards. And then you can go to the unofficial discussion group as well as the unofficial Reddit. And if you want to really dive into talks about the card game, other card games, whatever, you can come over to the Universe X Discord because we're chilling in there. Got a lot of announcements to go over in the upcoming weeks when those are made public, so stay tuned. And then last but not least, if you want to support the UniX fam, you can subscribe to this channel and just like the video, comment with your thoughts to help it trend so that we can keep getting further and further out there. We've also got some other channels like UniXDB where I play Dragon Ball related video games, as well as UniX Mag, which stands for actually manga, anime, and gaming, where I will play games, talk about stuff, manga, anime. It's just my general has fun channel. So with that being said, let's dive into this video because it could get a little meaty towards the end and I want to make sure there's enough time to hit all the points. So getting ready for Nats is important. Arguably, it is the most important tournament of the year. It's our, so far, really only large premier tournament. Like, you really have regionals, and then you have Gen Con, which is a regional, but most people put it above, regional status because of the players that it will draw in and the general event that it's at. And then you have Nationals. Nationals are where people build some of the largest, additions to their clout, to their, their relevance. You have a tournament that people had to gain their entry to, which means it's going to have the stiffest competition, and the prizes are nothing to sniff at either. People are making small annual salaries if they get in the top 4 nationals and start selling their stuff. And even if you make the top 16, you're generally coming away with a pretty penny that dwarfs what you walked in on, unless you wanted to keep those prizes. So with that being said, Nationals is the tournament that you want to perform in. Now, coming into this timeline, we're currently, when I'm making this video, the end of September. Nationals is going to come up in December, if I'm not mistaken, December 2022. And from now till then, you have a couple of main events. Just last week, we had, just last week, almost a full week ago, we have the introduction of Zenkai Series 1. This shakes up the game in a major way due to a mechanic introduced called Z Energy and being able to play things called Z Battle Cards and Z Awakening Leaders from your Z deck, which is outside of your normal deck. We're going to get to that a little bit later, but the next bump in the road is going to be the 2022 anniversary box. Now, when it comes to the release of this set, so far the main contenders are coming from, of course, the set and the 4 starter decks. Monkey Goku is a very, very powerful yellow deck, and I think more people need to understand how to play it because it has very good matchups versus a lot of the format. And it has a whole lot of barriers, barrier-related threats that can sit on the field. It's got a lot going for it. And I think a lot of players haven't dabbled into it quite yet, but Monkey Goku, I think, is likely best deck in format. People just need more practice and awareness. You've got SS4 Gogeta, you've got Red Sin. Those are 2 red decks, and I think that while Red Sin edges it out across the board, those are major contenders. I still am sitting here fairly confident that Zenkai Gotenks is a very good deck as well. But you have a couple of decks coming up, and then you have other decks that can, get used to the format. But the way the comboing that's needed to make Z Energy makes it so that decks that are made to accommodate Z Energy are generally going to be better off than the decks before them, because the decks before them will have to expend lots of hand to make the Z Energy mechanic work, or include certain cards that may have to go out of their way in order to combo with cards from their drop and whatnot. So, that all being said, when we go into the next chunk, which is going to be the anniversary box. The anniversary box is coming with, I think, 18 different cards. Well, there's 36 total new cards, if I'm not mistaken. 18 of them being normal battle card support for decks that we already have. The other 18 of them are Z battle cards or Z awakenings that are going to support decks we already have. And we're already going over the spoilers. I think I did 6 cards yesterday, or 2 days ago. 6 cards were 2 days ago. And then, as of you guys seeing this video, and then previously we talked about the ones that they had already spoiled when they first dropped the announcement in the first place. This is going to shake up the format in a couple different ways, because as we've seen, it doesn't take too many Z cards to bring a deck from obscurity or unplayability into the limelight. The biggest candidate for this that we're seeing so far is the Vegito from set 2, the red Vegito. It's getting both a 1-drop Z battle card as well as a Z Awakening. And the Z Awakening allows you to bounce cards, allows you to cheat out Vegitos, and so there's all these Vegito boss monsters that were way too costly to play that you're going to be able to play now easily, as well as a 1-drop that can gain barrier when you have enough of the Z combo card colors in your Z energy. It's also going to be able to forcibly awaken you, so no more waiting to get to 4. It's going to be able to flip very, very early. So when it comes to this, it only takes a couple cards, and the reason why this is the case is because a Z deck being outside your normal deck, you can pull from the cards at any time. You don't have to wait for your self-awakening if you have a Z battle card that self-awakens. Your leader or Z leader is generally going to push you forward into spaces. Sometimes the leader is meant to be a top end in the case of Monkey Goku, in the case of Gotenks. Sometimes the leader, Z leader, is meant to just push you into a higher gear, such as Blue Pycon. And sometimes it can really push you into relevance, such as this red Vegito. Now, we can't speculate on what everything is going to do, because it is we are about maybe not even halfway to the spoilers. I think we've revealed 6 cards, but all in all, we don't know half the set yet, so we're gonna have to see where this is gonna go to know which decks are gonna get boosted the most. So far, it looks like Vegito is the only deck that's being brought straight into the meta based off of the anniversary box, but that is gonna be the thing. Past that, we are going to get Zenkai Series 2 in November. Any box is October, so next month, and then Zenkai Series 2 is gonna be in November, right before Nats. Now, with everything here, I don't think we've had any product descriptions yet, but we know that we're gonna get some Dragon Ball superhero cards. Like, it's only a matter of time, and I thought it was gonna be this set, but they started amping up to it. The previous set, we got an Ultimate Squad, we got the Gammas, and then the special editions, we got a Vegeta from the movie, as well as a promo Gamma card. And then it skipped this, and in this set, we have a Piccolo with Gohans and Pans, and he flips over. So I'm assuming next set is going to be where we get a bulk of the movie stuff. Now, if this is true, we have a whole lot of things we can get. I think Yellow Piccolo is either going to get a Z Awaken plus support that's going to give him like the orange Piccolo cards and whatnot, or we're going to get a whole new Piccolo deck in general that's going to be able to Z Awaken into orange Piccolo. I just don't see anything else happening from that. I'm assuming we're also going to get a Gohan leader that Z Awakens into Beast Gohan. That should be it. Gamma is a toss-up. We could get more Gamma cards that support the blue-green already, but the deck is kind of full. So if we got more cards, it would be very interesting to figure out which cards we're keeping, which cards we're taking out. So I think it could be a possibility that we get a whole nother Gamma deck that operates slightly differently. We also could be finally seeing Cell Max some cards. There's a lot of stuff for us to see here. So, at least I think at least three archetypes are going to be taken up by the movie next set. We have Black. Apparently next set's supposed to be the conclusion of the Mechagabura, Dark Empire saga from Heroes, if I'm not mistaken. So we could get some more Trunks God cards. There could be a whole lot of stuff we're seeing, and I'm excited for it. But the whole point is, we don't know how that set's going to work. But I remember that when Rise of the Unison Warrior came out, that revolutionized the game. But when Vermilion Bloodlines came out, we got decks that would sit in the format for sets and sets to come. Just think about it. The second set of the Unison Warrior block brought us Red Broly, brought us Majin Vegeta, brought us Blue Baby, brought us Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. It also brought us Dark Broly. Like, that's insane. It also brought us Icarus, if I'm not mistaken. There were a whole lot of decks that came from that particular set. The power scale was amazing. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but if the first set of Zenkai series is just us getting our feet wet with the mechanic, very well the second set of Zenkai series could take it above and beyond. If that happens, Nationals is going to be a crazy, crazy bit of, just power added onto the game, and we have to respect that. So that is the timeline. Right now, it's very hard to gauge where Nats is going to be, because while we may like the Zenkai Series 1 format, we still have the Anti-Box and then a whole nother set that we're going to have to throw into the mix before we can talk about what decks we're playing for Nationals. So right now, you might not be looking for what deck you're going to play, but there is going to be some stuff that you need to understand, a reason to play right now, a reason to test play, a reason to get on untap, a reason to test with your team, your friends, go to your locals. And I'm going to get to that in the next segment. But right before that segment, I just want to give a quick shout out. Like, we're going into nationals, and I'm talking about all these ways you can prep, but there are ways you can prep before you even get to the event. And one of those starts in the shower or bathtub, whichever you prefer. Point being, clean hygiene is an excellent way to make everybody around you happy. And let's face it, we're gonna be in Florida. We're gonna be in a nice city in Florida. You might go out on the town one of these nights, two of these nights, all these nights, if you scrub out early, like hard. And if you go out in Florida, you're gonna wanna be smelling nice. And that is actually where the partnership comes in, which is Dr. Squatch. With all their natural shampoos, deodorants, as well as their acclaimed soaps, you're gonna be smelling great and your skin's gonna love it. It's not only good for the environment, it's good for your immediate environment, which means the people that are smelling you and will likely take offense to you smelling bad. You can literally get DQ'd if your hygiene is not on point. Like that's a rule in the rule book. We can call a judge and the judge sniff test you. You don't wanna put all this practice in here only to get mised because you didn't bathe correctly. So that is the message of this. I've got some links in the description for you to go over, and we got some coupon links as well. Check them out. And if soap isn't your thing, which I think it should be for just about everybody, but you still want to help out the channel, you could also just give a donation. Not over here begging, pandering, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to branch out and see how far I can go with content creation. So every little bit helps. That being said, let's get back to the meat and potatoes of the video and finish out strong. So somebody might say, if we are going to get one, potentially two format shifts before nationals, why would you even play now? It's actually a question I've struggled with myself a little bit, just trying to figure out where I want to place my time and effort. And the answer is actually surprisingly solid. Zenkai as a mechanic adds a whole nother layer of resource management. And that resource management is very much so crucial because there's a 3-point balance in my opinion. And it all revolves around comboing. Comboing is a centerpiece. At the top here, we have Z energy. How many cards do you put in your Z energy to make your Z energy effective with your cards? Because every time you cast a Z battle card or Z energy or Z awakening, you're gonna lose the Z energy required on the card. But so you have to know how many cards you put up here. However, you move over to the other angle of this one, and I'm gonna talk about overown fuel. If you put every single card that you combo, every time you combo, if you put one card into your Z energy, most decks are not going to have a thick grave, which is going to hurt you for both sparking and overown purposes. You have to start understanding that there is a balance. You need to have 4 Z energy in there to make sure that stuff like, Rush Attack, Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta works out. But you don't want to cut yourself off from your after images. And this is going to change a whole lot of things. The math is immaculate. If you've got this dude over here, right? If you cast him with, let's say 5 Z energy, he's going to swing. His effect is going to combo a card, and you can add that to Z energy, and then you have 4 in there again. Because think about it, you go down by 2 to cast this guy due to his cost up in the corner, and when it focuses. So you're gonna go down to 2, from 5 to 2 Z energy. Then you're gonna swing with him. His auto's gonna combo. You're gonna put that into Z energy. Then he's at 4, so you can untap him, and he gets his double strike and his extra stats and barrier. But that's just the most rudimentary part of it. You can cast this guy. I cast this guy on 3 Z energy, went down to 1, swung with him, went up to 2, swung with my Unison comboed, went up to 3, swung with my leader comboed, went up to 4, and then untapped him. Now, this is pretty cool, but like I said, you have to plan out these moves accordingly because you don't want to stop yourself from being able to overwhelm at a crucial time or sparking at a crucial time because you were so focused on Z energy. At the same time, you do want to make sure that you are adding up correctly so that you can do those things. Now, the third part of the triangle that I feel is drop combos. There are decks that require things in your drop. You could have a deck that requires heavy sparking. You could be playing a deck like U7 Goku, where he's going to mill. That one actually is a bad example because he's going to mill so much. When you combo, you'll be able to add to your Z energy. That's not going to really matter much. But let's say like you could be playing a deck like Gamma, and you have to be very careful, because while Android 18 and 17, the Unison, allow you to combo from the grave or from the drop, if you keep adding that card to your Z energy, you might leave yourself without a card to use on their auto, meaning their auto will proc, but you won't gain any combo power, meaning that they don't have that extra layer of defense or offense. And that's a problem. So now you have to kind of understand that you need to balance those: your Z energy, your sparking / overwhelm fuel, and the combos that will happen out of your drop. You can't leave your drop empty of your targets for your cards, so you do need to leave things in there. You can't just pick them up and yeet them into your Z energy, but you also need to make sure that you can overwhelm and sparking, but you also need to make sure that you're balancing your Z energy. This is a cycle. And then when you get even further into that logic, you really start learning how to manipulate things. You could have a card that you need to keep in your grave, your drop, but you also know you're about to overwhelm. You could do something like swing with a card like this, or a card like Pan. I'm not gonna get my Pan, it's somewhere around here. Either way, you can use cards like that to take cards out of your drop, combo with them, and then put them into your Z energy. Then you overwhelm them. And then as long as you're going to, in the same turn, play a Z battle card, you're gonna put that card back into your drop to use for later. So this adds another layer. You can just pocket cards into your Z energy knowing you're gonna take them back out and then use them for whatever they were supposed to be used in the first place. And I think that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Like if you're playing Piccolo and you had an overwhelm, right? You could use Pan to swing and put the SR Gohan, since it combos for 5k, put the SR Gohan into your Z energy, then overwhelm, and then play something from your Z deck and put that Pan, or put that Gohan right back down. Actually, you could play the 2-drop Gohan from your Z deck, put the Gohan back into your drop area, and then evolve on top of it if you were so to choose. So I think that's actually a really cool point that you can really go through there. The last thing I do want to say is deck building. When you deck build, right, you have to ask yourself, now, what does your Z deck do for you? With certain decks in the future, I'm sure it'll add like, you know, just a whole lot of utility. Like if you look at Gotenks, the Piccolo right now is a fixer. So its Z deck right now mostly just fixes the deck. But you look at Red, and between Defender of Life, between Rush Attack, between Videl, it's just power. It's destruction and it's power. So when you have destruction and power, you can allot more of your deck space to filtering, defense, and fixing, because you know that your power is in a space where you can always reach it. So because of this, your deck changes a little bit. More threats can be put into your Z deck, meaning you have space to just have more utility. You're gonna have to look at your Z deck, ask what does it do for your color, and then move from there to figure out how your deck can best utilize it. So yeah, it's gonna be changing up how we play, it's gonna be changing up how we build, and that's a really good mechanic that I think that everybody needs to learn how to master now if you plan on going to nationals. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments if this was a helpful video. I am excited to be back into it. Like, it was really good drafting this. I haven't felt this excited about making videos in quite some time. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I will see you guys the next time you decide to join Universe X later. And like I said before, if this is your first time here and you think this is worth a sub, hit that sub button. We're gonna be coming back with a lot more. Peace.